Hey everybody, Dom here. During the Scream Fortress 12 update, several maps were added to the game, one of which is called Hassle Castle, and upon entering it, it becomes immediately apparent that this map runs really poorly. Today I'm going to run through it and see if I can figure out why that is. And here we are on Hassle Castle. So, starting off, I want to change the topic a bit. This has nothing to do with the main topic. I dislike the spectating camera, the camera that you start off in. So let me click the button that reset it. This is how it is. What sucks about this camera is that it's slightly tilted. So let me demonstrate. Get pose. Now, do you see the value, the negative 1.582214 there? The camera is slightly tilted. Now, I don't mean like tilted like up, down, left, right. I mean like sideways. The yaw is a little strange. So, let me fix that. Set ang. We'll set it to 0, 0, 0. So, this is how it's supposed to be. Like, the horizon's perfect. What it has is negative 1.8 basically. I'll just put a large value just to demonstrate. It's basically like that, but only slightly. Just a minute amount you can't hardly see. But it's slightly tilted, and that bugs me. Okay, let's move on to the actual topic at hand. Forget about the spectating camera, it's not that important. Alright, so the reason why I think this map is poorly optimized, oh, by the way, I think it's poorly optimized, is because all the props don't have fade out distances. I think the vast majority of props, or I can't spot any props that don't fade out. So let's start off by turning on net graph here. You can see my frame rate. You can see when there are spikes. Spikes are bad. Avoid spikes. Spikes on the graph, that's not good. The higher they are, the worse they are. So as we pan through, I can even just feel my frame rate being weird. So usually I record with VSync on, but it's off now so I can show you like the real frame rate that is really high right now, 100 something ish, just going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, so let's look at the props on the map. So I've also bound a key to do this. Ugh. Check it out. We can see all the props on the map. Quite dense, quite hard to see, but just bear with me for a moment. Look at all this. None of this fades out over distance. So in a moment I'm going to show you upward in comparison, but just look as I go back and forth. This area here, we'll use the same area more or less on upward as a demonstration area. So it's just different areas load in. That's just how just ignore the background areas. Just basically the cyan colored things. They're not fading out over distance. So another example. That's bad. That's like this map is chock full of props. It has props everywhere, and them not disappearing when you can't see them when they're so far away is bad. So another example, the source engine uses what it's called visleafs. Basically, let's say you're in here, for example, the entire area is over there will cease to exist, so nothing is rendered, right? So certain places rendered, not rendered, rendered, not rendered. Now, this map is more or less on par with upward, except a small key areas, let's say. So let me show you one. Let's turn back to normal so I can see things. Whoa, that frame. Oh, by the way, this bugs me. Okay, you can tell this map is poorly optimized. Like, okay, look at this little nice detail over here. Do you see it? I don't see it. What if I like crank the contrast? Do you see it? There's barrels in there. It's like, you may be thinking, what are you talking about? There's no barrels in there. Well, there are barrels in there. They're just pointless because they're unseeable. Now that's the type of map this map maker makes. A map with details that are basically indistinguishable, not viewable in the slightest, and that's bad. Sorry, map maker, I don't want to throw you under the bus. Okay, you're trying your best, I imagine. But, you know, I say remove those barrels because they're pointless. Another thing to note, this is another key difference between upward and this map. This area here, the map maker, instead of just this being a wall and it cutting visleafs, and it's not a wall. You can see through it. You can't see through it physically. You can never see these. There's a bunch of props here, like a bunch of trash, right? Just like existing there in the map, just for show. This looks nice, right? But you can see it outside of here. These props are still rendered on the other side of this wall because this door there's no wall here. It's the prop. So I'll compare this to upward in a moment where it's way better optimized. But like, okay, so this back door, it's a nice prop, you know, but it's rendered here. It's rendered here where you can't see it at all, in the slightest. It's rendered all the way over here where you can't see it. It's rendered, still 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 rendered. And I'm all the way to the very edge of the map. I've left the skybox. Down here, from here, is it okay that your computer renders that one door down there, even though you can't see it and it's literally it's impossible to see it? Is that cool? Is that good? No, that's poorly optimized. That's horrible. Let's move on. Let me show you Upward now. And here we are on Upward. So let's fly around a bit. Do you notice something different about this? Do you notice something, let's say in the bottom right? Are there like very large peaks, very large jumps in are there spikes on the bottom right? No, not really. It's way more smooth. This frame rate, it's great. This map is optimized. So let's go back to that spot I mentioned before and compare. Alright, so more or less this is the same spot. I'll set this button. This is just, I'm just using a keybind to do the console command mat wireframe 3 here. And changing it back mat wireframe 0. Anyways, so here we are. Look at the props. The props fade into existence and then fade out as you go forward as you go forward and back. They're gone, they come back. They're gone, they come back. This map has optimization. Amazing. So it's not really seeable, it's not really viewable. You can't really see these props. They're unimportant. They're small. The major props, still same thing as the other map. Upward. These rocks down here, they're always down there. You'll always see these rocks, despite being on the other side of the map. That's okay. It's not ideal, but it's okay. So things up top, those props up top, you'll probably see them from every angle of the map, so they could just exist, and that's not the best thing in the world, but it's okay. It's not horrible. At least most of the props, at least half the props, disappear over distance. So look at them. It's obvious that they go away and they come back, but when you switch over to this view, harder to see them. Hard to see them go away and come back. You know, that's optimization. It's good. Beautiful. So you have a fence over here. You don't see it, and now you do. The fence that disappears over distance. Amazing. So let's go over here. Let's travel more towards the original spawn, Blue's first spawn here. Look over here. You have a door, another door, and a fence. So this is Valve's thinking about optimization. So as you go back, the first thing to disappear, the fence on the left. So basically, when you're playing the map, when you're playing Team Fortress 2, not the fence on the left, the door on the left, it disappears over here where you can't really see it. You're past the angle. You can't go further back to see that it's gone, right? That's good. That makes sense. That's logical. That's reasonable. You go a little further back, and the fence disappears. That you could see, you could tell a difference, but you're far enough that it's not really noticeable, and in the heat of gameplay, you don't really notice. And then eventually, when you go super far back, the door on the right disappears too. Fair enough. It's good. That's awesome. That's logical. That's reasonable. There's optimization here. So let me compare the door area here. Hey, look. There's the same door, more or less. The door idea is still there, where there's a shutter door. But look, I can't see anything through it. There's nothing on the other side rendered when I'm on the other side of it. So I'll be in spawn, I'll be AFK or something, and I'm not taking a frame rate from someone across the map. This bomb over here, these bombs, they don't exist. They're not rendered when I'm far away, when I'm even just past this door. They're not rendered when I go further back. So that's optimization. Upward. I know it. Even though I'm saying it's optimized, it could be a little bit better. Like for example, this right here, this spawn room. There should be an area portal that shuts off when the door is closed, because there's no point. It's an opaque door. You can't see through this door, right? Nothing here, nothing here. So it should disable the rendering. It should use an area portal that shuts off when the door is closed. But Valve didn't do it, and so the other map also didn't do it because they just copy pasted basically. So I'm not saying Upward is perfect. I'm not saying it's the best optimized map in the world. I'm just saying it's a little bit better. And couple that little bit betterness with just generally having a small amount of props. Like from far away, it's not just a gigantic mess. You could make out that this is the map. You can see this is Upward comparatively to Hassel Castle, where it's more like cyan everywhere. There's less props, I'm gonna say. Just eyeballing it. I'm not using a mathematical situation. I'm not using a formula. I'm not using math to determine that. I'm just using my eyeballs. So, more optimized, less props. Map runs better. Map runs fine. Map runs great. And that's about it. That's all I'm saying. And that's the video. Hassel Castle is a poorly optimized map in my opinion, because props don't fade out over distance, and the very small amounts of situations, like the barrels, for example, and seeing through spawns, through a door that's opaque, in the first spawn, in Blue's first spawn, it's bad. Hassel Castle, it runs poorly, and these are the reasons, my opinion. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Au revoir.